In a shocking revelation that has sent ripples through the sports and entertainment worlds, former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson announced on Friday that he has been diagnosed with angiosarcoma, a rare and highly aggressive form of cancer. The 59-year-old icon, known for his ferocious in-ring style and larger-than-life persona, shared the news in an exclusive interview with People magazine, breaking his silence after months of private struggle. Angiosarcoma, which originates in the cells lining blood and lymph vessels, is an uncommon malignancy that can develop almost anywhere in the body. According to Dr. Meredith Specht, an oncologist specializing in rare cancers who evaluated Tyson's case for the publication, this type of tumor is not only exceedingly rare, but also notoriously difficult to treat. This isn't just a very, very rare cancer. It's a very, very aggressive one with a low prospect for cure, Dr. Specht explained. She noted that while treatment options include surgery, radiation therapy, and chemotherapy, these often serve to extend life rather than eradicate the disease entirely. Despite all these possibilities, surgery, radiation, and chemo, the chances of a complete cure are virtually non-existent. Tyson was diagnosed with the disease in July 2025, as he detailed in a candid conversation with TMZ, along with his wife, Lakaha Kiki Spicer. The couple revealed that Tyson underwent 2 surgeries shortly after the discovery, involving the removal of part of his ureter and bladder. More tissue was affected by the cancer than initially anticipated, Kiki shared, adding that the second procedure was necessary to address the extent of the spread. Currently, Tyson is on potent pain medications to manage post-operative discomfort, which he admits have taken a toll on his daily life. The boxing legend, who has always projected an image of unbreakable strength, confessed that he deliberately kept his condition under wraps until now. "It's time to come clean with the truth," Tyson told TMZ. His appearance at a recent public event, a promotional interview for his cannabis brand, raised eyebrows among fans, who noted his disoriented demeanor. Tyson attributed this to the side effects of his medication. "With these pills, my head feels like it's stuck in a washing machine. I don't recognize myself. Now I know it's the painkillers talking." Dr. Specht emphasized the seriousness of angiosarcoma, highlighting its propensity for rapid growth and metastasis. "These cancers must be taken extremely seriously. They're highly malignant, grow quickly, and spread," she said. "The disease's vascular origins mean it can metastasize through the bloodstream, complicating treatment and prognosis." While the exact stage of Tyson's cancer remains undisclosed, experts like Dr. Specht indicate that early detection offers the best shot at management, though long-term survival rates hover around 20–30% for localized cases, dropping significantly if it has spread. Fans and fellow athletes have rallied around Tyson since the announcement. Social media exploded with messages of support, with figures like UFC President Dana White tweeting, "Mike's a warrior. He's beaten tougher odds before, sending strength." Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn called it heartbreaking, but expressed confidence in Tyson's resilience. "If anyone can fight this, it's Iron Mike." Tyson's family, including his 7 children, has been a pillar of support. Kiki, whom he married in 2009, described the emotional strain. "We've been through so much together, but this is different. Mike's determination is inspiring, but we take it one day at a time." The couple, who reside in Nevada, have emphasized the importance of privacy during treatment, while appreciating the outpouring of love from fans. As Tyson navigates this new fight outside the ring, questions linger about his future endeavors. He had been teasing a potential podcast tour and business expansions, but sources close to him indicate a focus on recovery. Dr. Specht stressed that while the prognosis is grim, advancements in targeted therapies offer hope. "We're seeing progress in immunotherapy for sarcomas, which could change the game. This is far from the first time this legendary fighter has stared down brutal adversity." Let's look back at Mike Tyson's profoundly turbulent life journey. From the violent, scarred streets of his childhood to the heartbreaking losses, public scandals, and silent battles that forged one of the most feared and fascinating figures in sports history. On June 30th, 1966, Michael Gerard Tyson was born in Brooklyn, New York. His birth certificate listed Purcell Tyson, a humble Jamaican cab driver, as his father. But the man young Mike would call father was Jimmy Curly Kirkpatrick, a pimp, a gambler, a regular street guy caught up in the street world. As Tyson later described him, Kirkpatrick had moved to Brooklyn from Greertown, North Carolina, where he'd been a top baseball player. He left his first family behind, including a son, Jimmy Lee Kirkpatrick, who would later help integrate Charlotte high school football in 1965. In Brooklyn, Kirkpatrick met Lorna Mae Smith, who was from the U.S. Virgin Islands. They had 3 children together, Rodney, Denise, and Mike. But Kirkpatrick frequented pool halls, gambled, and hung out on the streets. He was never a real father, and when Mike was just 2 years old, still in diapers, barely talking, Kirkpatrick abandoned the family. "My father was just a regular street guy caught up in the street world," Tyson later said. That's all he knew about the man who gave him life. No memories of being held. No memories of being read to or played with. Just absence. Years later, Kirkpatrick would offer an explanation. "I was a little wild back then. I think Mike was about 2 years old. I had a heart attack. When I went into the hospital, things changed. I wasn't able to support them. I wasn't able to do the things I should have, and I couldn't marry her. She just went her way and I went mine. We just split up. All I remember about Mike then was that he was a husky baby." A husky baby. That's all his father remembered. Not his personality, not his smile, not his first words. Just that he was husky. Kirkpatrick died in 1992 when Mike was 26 years old and already a former heavyweight champion. Father and son never reconciled. Mike never got answers, never got an apology, never got closure. After Kirkpatrick left, Lorna Mae Smith Tyson was alone with 3 children in one of the most dangerous cities in America. They lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant, a neighborhood already infamous for poverty and crime. Lorna worked as a nurse's aide, but it wasn't enough. When Mike was 7, 2 years after the House of D had shut its doors, amid a recession and the city's mounting financial crisis, Lorna and her kids were evicted from their Bed-Stuy apartment, one account notes. Evicted. Thrown out onto the streets, with 3 children. Their existence became nomadic, each move taking them deeper into Brooklyn and poverty, the biography continues. They slept in their clothes for lack of heat. Fires from adjacent apartments were a constant threat, as tenants or squatters lit them for heat, and landlords for the insurance money. Read that again? They slept in their clothes because there was no heat. Young Mike went to bed fully clothed, shivering, hoping the building wouldn't catch fire during the night. "My mother would do whatever she had to do to keep a roof over our heads," Tyson recalled. "That often meant sleeping with someone that she didn't really care for. This is what I hate about myself, what I learned from my mother. There was nothing you wouldn't do to survive." Lorna sold her body to keep her children fed. And young Mike knew. He understood what his mother was doing and why. That knowledge, that his mother had to prostitute herself because his father abandoned them, scarred Mike forever. When Mike was 10, the family moved to Brownsville, an even worse neighborhood. Tyson later said moving from Bed-Stuy to Brownsville was like moving from the devil's bathroom to his toilet. Brownsville had the highest crime rate in New York City. Murders were common. Drug dealing happened openly on corners. Gang violence was constant. This is where Mike Tyson spent his formative years. And his mother? She was barely present. She worked constantly. And when she wasn't working, she was drinking. Lorna struggled with alcoholism, drowning her pain in liquor because the reality of her life was unbearable. Mike Tyson's mother later met Jimmy Kirkpatrick, who had left his family and moved to Brooklyn. Wait, that's wrong. Lorna met Kirkpatrick before Mike was born, not later. Let me correct. After Kirkpatrick left, Lorna had a boyfriend named Eddie Gillison, who was violent. He would hit Lorna. She would hit him back. Young Mike witnessed domestic violence regularly. He slept in his mother's bed, one account notes, though it didn't afford much in the way of protection. Once, when Mike tried to intervene in a fight, Eddie punched him in the stomach, maybe the first time he went down from a body shot. Eventually, during one particularly violent fight, Lorna tackled Eddie to the floor. Denise and Mike each went at Eddie's head, beating on him with Rodney's platform shoes. Rodney's black lab jumped in too, taking bites where he could, while Rodney himself beat Eddie around the ankles with a baseball bat. This was Mike's childhood. Not playing in parks, not birthday parties, but beating his mother's boyfriend with shoes while a dog bit him and his brother hit him with a bat. Young Mike wasn't the intimidating figure he would become. He was small, fat, and wore glasses. He had a high-pitched, lisping voice that made him an easy target. A little fairy, kids called him on the streets. They bullied him mercilessly. Bigger boys would rob him, taking whatever he had. Mike felt uncomfortably powerless and vulnerable, constantly afraid, constantly humiliated. The bullying was so severe, so constant, that it fundamentally changed Mike. He developed a rage that would define the rest of his life. But he also discovered something: pigeons. Mike raised pigeons on the rooftop of his Brownsville apartment building. Caring for birds gave him peace, purpose, something gentle in a violent world. But even that was taken from him. One day, an older boy killed one of Mike's pigeons, ripped its head off right in front of him. Something snapped. Mike, the bullied little fairy, attacked the older boy with a fury that shocked everyone, including himself. That was my first fight, Tyson later recalled. He discovered that violence felt good, that hurting people who hurt you was satisfying, that rage could be weaponized. By age 13, Mike Tyson had been arrested 38 times. Robbery, assault, theft. He was a juvenile delinquent heading straight toward prison or death, like so many other Brownsville kids. In 1982, Lorna Mae Smith Tyson was diagnosed with cancer. By the time doctors found it, the disease was already advanced. She didn't have long. Mike was 15, almost 16. His boxing career was just beginning. Bobby Stewart, a counselor at the Tryon School for Boys where Mike had been sent for his crimes, had introduced him to Cus D'Amato, a legendary boxing trainer. Cus saw potential in Mike that no one else had seen, but Mike's focus wasn't on boxing. It was on his mother, who was dying. On May 26, 1982, just weeks before Mike's 16th birthday, Lorna Mae Smith Tyson died. "I never saw my mother happy with me and proud of me for doing something," Mike said years later. "She only knew me as being a wild kid running the streets, coming home with new clothes that she knew I didn't pay for. I never got a chance to talk to her or know about her. Professionally, it has no effect, but it's crushing emotionally and personally." Read those words carefully. Mike never saw his mother happy with him, never saw her proud. She died thinking he was a criminal heading nowhere. She never got to see him become heavyweight champion, never got to see him succeed, never got to know the man he would become. "We didn't have that relationship," Mike admitted to a podcaster decades later about his mother. Lorna worked hard to support her children, often working as a domestic helper, but the demands for survival were high, leaving her and her children with limited resources. Tyson's relationship with her was fraught. After Lorna died, Cus D'Amato became Mike's legal guardian. Cus was the father figure Mike never had. He taught Mike discipline, strategy, how to channel his rage into boxing instead of crime. He believed in Mike when no one else did. Cus D'Amato taught me discipline, strategy, and the mental strength I needed to become a champion, Mike has said. Without Cus, Mike would have ended up dead or in prison. Instead, at age 20 in 1986, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. But Cus died in November 1985, just months before Mike won the title. Another father figure, gone before Mike could fully make him proud. Denise Anderson, Mike's only sister, was his closest family member during childhood. She was there through the poverty, the evictions, the violence. She beat Eddie Gillison with platform shoes alongside Mike. She understood him in ways no one else could. In 1990, Denise Tyson Anderson died. She was just 24 years old. Cancer, like their mother. Mike was 24, at the peak of his boxing career. He had everything: fame, money, the championship belt. But his sister was dead. His mother was dead. His surrogate father, Cus, was dead. Everyone who truly knew him, everyone who had been there from the beginning, was gone. The loss devastated him. The pain and suffering that Tyson had to endure due to the loss of his family members clearly left a permanent mark upon his personality, one biography notes. Mike was alone, surrounded by hangers-on, promoters, yes men, but fundamentally, completely alone. In 1992, Mike Tyson was convicted of raping Desiree Washington, an 18-year-old Miss Black America contestant, in an Indianapolis hotel room. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Mike has always maintained his innocence. To this day, he insists the sex was consensual, but the jury didn't believe him. Neither did much of the public. Mike served 3 years in prison, from 1992 to 1995. He was 25 years old when he entered. In the prime of his boxing career, arguably the most feared fighter on the planet. He was 28 when he was released. Older, slower, damaged. Those 3 years changed him. Prison didn't rehabilitate Mike Tyson. It hardened him, made him angrier, made him more volatile. When he was released in 1995, Mike tried to reclaim his place in boxing. He won some fights, made some money, but he was never the same. The fire was still there, but so was something darker, a recklessness, a self-destructiveness that would define the rest of his career. By the 2000s, Mike Tyson's boxing career was over. He had squandered an estimated $300 million on mansions, cars, jewelry, tigers, and hangers-on. He declared bankruptcy in 2003. But Mike had found something more important than boxing or money: his children. He had 7 children from various relationships, and despite everything, he tried to be present for them in ways his own father never was. One of those children was Exodus Tyson, his daughter with Saul Xochitl. Exodus was born in 2005. On May 25, 2009, 4-year-old Exodus was playing at home in Phoenix, Arizona. She found the cord from a treadmill and somehow got it wrapped around her neck. Her 7-year-old brother Miguel found her hanging, unconscious, and called for help. Exodus was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Mike flew to Phoenix immediately. He sat by his daughter's bedside, praying, hoping, begging God not to take another person he loved. On May 26, 2009, exactly 27 years to the day after his mother Lorna died, Exodus Tyson was pronounced dead, 4 years old. Mike's baby girl, gone. There's no words to describe the horror of losing a child, Mike said after her death. He was destroyed, shattered. Another person he loved, ripped away. Today, at 59 years old, Mike Tyson is a cultural icon. He's in movies, podcasts, commercials. He has a successful cannabis business. He's done a one-man show on Broadway. He's become a philosopher of sorts, speaking openly about his trauma, his mistakes, his journey. But he paid for that redemption with a childhood of poverty, violence, and abandonment. He paid for it with a mother who died before seeing him succeed, a sister who died at 24. A surrogate father who died before he won the championship. 3 years in prison. A daughter who died at 4 years old. Mike Tyson was called the baddest man on the planet. But he couldn't protect his mother from cancer, couldn't save his sister, couldn't prevent his daughter's death. All his strength, all his power, all his rage, it couldn't stop the people he loved from leaving. At 59, Mike has found some peace. He's married to Lakeha Spicer, his third wife. He's sober, he's reflective. He's trying to be better, but he's still carrying that 2-year-old baby whose father abandoned him. The boy called Little Fairy, who was bullied until he became a monster. The 16-year-old whose mother died thinking he was worthless. The father who buried his baby girl. Success didn't save Mike Tyson. It just gave him a platform to survive. And maybe survival is enough.